Hello everyone, my name is Rabia and this is episode 7 of Python for Absolute Beginner series, and today we are learning one of the most important tools in Python, that is while loops. A while loop lets you repeat a block of code as long as condition stays true. So you will use it when you don't know ahead of time how many times something needs to repeat. So let's first look at the while loop syntax. A while loop starts with the keyword while, then it is followed by a condition and a colon. Then Python runs the indented body over and over while the condition is true. So let's look at this particular example where we are counting and printing numbers from 1 to 5. We first have our counter which is equals to 1, then we wrote our while loop and our condition is that continue this loop until count is less than or equals to 5. Then in the indented body we have our print count, and then we are also incrementing the count variable. Then once the loop is done, we are going to print that the process is completing. So what's actually happening here? We start with the count equals to 1. Python checks whether count is less than or equals to 5 on each iteration. If it's true, it prints the number and increment count accordingly. When count becomes 6, the condition becomes false and the loop stops. Now let's look at how while loop is different from for loop. You can do the same counting we just saw with the for loop and you will see that it's shorter. And in this particular example, we are using the for loop to count the numbers from 1 to 5. And in this case, you see that we have defined our range that we have discussed in our previous video, and our range is from 1 to 5 because we want our numbers to be printed from 1 to 5 as you can see. And then we have our indented body which is print count, and then once the loop is finished it will give us this verdict that the process is completed, and you will see that you get the same results with the for loop as well as with the while loop. So the general rule of thumb here is that use for loop when you know the number of iterations and use while loop when you don't know the number of iterations in advance. So to validate this concept, let's look at one of the best use case of while loop, which is keep asking until the verdict is correct. So the classic example of this is password prompt because we don't know how many tries the user will take. So we will implement this example with one alternative which is condition based loop. So we have our password and we have this condition that while password is not equals to this password which is secret 123, and then we in the indented body we have password is equals to input enter password. So once you run this block you will see that user has to enter the password which is secret 123, and once you enter your password it will print that the login is successful as you can see in the output. So there is another way to implement this example using while true plus break, and this is very clean pattern and it is super common in real programs. So this is how you are going to write it, that while true and then colon then password. Again we are going to use the user input here which is enter password, and if password is not equals to any password, in this case it's secret 123, is going to enter the correct password, it will print login successful as you can see here in the output once you run the block. Next, we are going to look at one of the most common mistake that users perform with the while loop, which is infinite loop. If you forget a way to your loop runs forever. For example, in this particular example, while true, I didn't set any condition, and once you enter it you will see that it will run forever. I'm not going to run this block because it will then keep on running. So always make sure that your while loop has a condition that eventually becomes false or a break path that can actually happen. So that's all. So just to recap, in this episode, you learned while loop syntax, header plus indented body, how the condition controls the loop, when to use while versus for loop, the while true plus break pattern, and how to avoid infinite like to
loops.
practice, check out the notebook linked below where you will find beginner friendly while loop exercises. If you want future videos where I walk through these exercises step by step, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss upcoming episodes in the Python for Absolute Beginner series. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.